What's up, squeegee slingers and water-fed pole wiggling wagglers, and welcome back to the Tradman YouTube channel. Today we're going over 5 tips for using squeegees in the hand that'll make you a faster window cleaner. Stay tuned. Okay then folks, so tip number 1 is to use a good quality squeegee rubber. There is no point in applying anything I teach you if the squeegee rubber you have is not of a professional grade, not a good quality, and is going to leave a mess on those windows. So tip number 1 is to use a good quality squeegee rubber, such as things like Ettore or Unger. These are good brands to use. Personally, I use Ettore Master Rubber. It's always been a good quality and reliable rubber for me. There are a few other brands out there that are really good as well. So just do your homework and pick a good quality squeegee rubber before you even start. So that's tip number 1. Okay then folks, so tip number 2 is the solution that you're using, what you're actually applying to the window itself. Now my recommendation would be a clean bucket of water to put your applicator into. Once you've dunked it into the water, then use something like dish soap to apply to your applicator directly and then rub that onto the glass. That is going to give you the best slip and the best performance on the window. So that's tip number 2, to apply soap directly to your washer sleeve. Tip number 3 is to get both hands working together as a team. So in the previous video we mentioned that using 2 hands was a lot quicker and more efficient. So what do we mean by working as a team? An example of working as a team with both hands, what we mean is one hand is doing one job and then the next hand's already prepared for the next job. So I'll give you a demonstration in just a second, but what we're talking about is soaping the window up. This hand is already prepared to squeegee the window down. When you're squeegeeing the window down, this hand is putting the applicator away, grabbing the sill squeegee ready to pull that excess solution off of the sill, and then this hand is already put the squeegee away and is already out with your cleaning cloth ready to wipe up the sill. So it's a fluid motion with 2 hands. Your next hand is always ahead of your previous hand, if that makes sense. So both hands are working together as a team, and your first hand is doing job number 1, next hand is doing job number 2, and so on. So we'll give you a demonstration on the glass now. So we've got our soap on the applicator, it's ready to rub into the window. So we'll just rub that in now. Okay, so what I mean is, you're soaping up the window, okay? Your next hand, this free hand, is already grabbing your squeegee before you've even finished soaping up the window, okay? Now it's soaped up, this hand is going to squeegee the glass. The left hand is putting the applicator away and grabbing the sill squeegee, ready to pull that excess solution off the frame. Okay, so this is getting squeegeed down, like so. And when you come to close out, you'll have that excess solution at the bottom of the window. So you close out. While this hand is pulling that solution off, this hand is going to prepare to wipe the sill with a cloth. So as my hand is doing this, pulling that excess solution off, this hand is pulling out the cloth and finishing up the final part of the job, which cleaning the sill. So it's a fluid motion, 2 hands working together, this hand always 1 step ahead of this hand, and so on. So it's getting the 2 of your hands to work together as a team, and that will speed you up infinitely. So putting that together, it should look something like this. Now I won't go too fast so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're coming up to the window. The left hand has pulled the applicator out and is soaping up. The right hand has pulled the squeegee out. This hand is squeegeeing the window down. This hand is pulled out the sill squeegee, ready to pull that solution off the window. Close out. This hand is pulling that solution off. This hand has got the cloth and wiping up. Okay, so I've slowed that down a little bit for you so you can see what I'm doing, but essentially soap, squeegee, sill, cloth, one after the other. Okay then, so tip number 4 is to soap up the entire window. Don't be tempted just to soap up the middle bit or just a section of it. Soap up the entire pane. Make sure everything is nice and wet, the whole window's been agitated with your applicator, because if you don't and you leave dry spots, what that will do is create drag with your squeegee. It will possibly even leave streaks around the edges. You want to make sure the entire window is covered in that nice soapy, slippy solution to make sure that squeegee glides perfectly and gives you a perfect finish. So tip number 4, soap up that entire pane of glass properly. Now finally, tip number 5 is to use as large a squeegee as you can possible on the window. So normally, as a rule of thumb, go for a squeegee that is over half the width of your window or over half the height, depending on the style of window. If it's a window like this, I'm looking for my squeegee to be over half the width of the window, and that way I'm using as few strokes, as few moves as possible on the pane to get to the bottom. The smaller your squeegee, the more maneuvers you're going to need to make to get that window done. Or if you're a window cleaner that does straight pulls, you're going to need to do a lot more straight pulls with a smaller size of squeegee. So use a nice big squeegee on the windows if you can. What we are aiming to do is to get that window done in as few moves as possible. So for an instance, this is a 16-inch channel, so it's perfect for a window like this. We'll just soap up that window there. Okay, so what I want to do is, after I've cut in, which is the initial move, which is when you start, so we cut in, and I want to get this window done in as few moves as possible. So 1 across, and your squeegee should be just above that solution, 2, 3, and then close out at the bottom. If it was a very small squeegee, I'd be there probably twice as long to get that window done. So there's an example. For residential homes, I suggest you use something around 16-inch and a 12-inch as well for those smaller windows. 16 and 12 is a good average size of squeegee channel to use for residential. If you're on commercial, then obviously you probably need something a bit bigger, up to 18, 22, things like that. So use as big a squeegee as you can on the window to get it done as quickly as possible. And here's a sneaky little extra bonus tip for you if you've stayed to the end. When you're soaping up windows, if it's not too hot a day, you can actually soap up quite a few windows before you even start squeegeeing them down. That will also help speed up the process. So on a beautiful day like today, it's nice and sunny, I'd probably soap up about 3 or 4, even maybe even 5 windows at a time if they're in a row. Soap them all up and then squeegee them all down one after the other, followed by cleaning up the sill at the end. So if you can, and it's not too hot, that solution's not going to dry out super quick. If the temperature allows it, soap up as many windows as you can before you go and squeegee them all down. So there's an extra little bonus tip for you. So there you go, folks. There's a few tips that will hopefully help you with your traditional window cleaning in the hand. So the next video we're going to be talking about is pole work. So using traditional tools on the pole, how to get fast at that. So thank you very much for your time, been much appreciated. Remember to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you can, it'd be super cool. And until next time, you take care, be good, and bye for now.